Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've decided to carry on the conversation that I was having in my previous video about the challenges for anyone starting motovlogging in 2023. Now, as we can see, there's I believe it's a harvester in front of us, so we're not going to do anything silly. We're in a 30-mile-an-hour zone anyway. So today, one of the things I want to discuss, which is fairly important, the elephant in the room, is what sort of equipment do you need to start motovlogging? And I think it's an absolute minefield, something that we all have to go through. Right, let's start off with the equipment. I think I'll start off with focusing on the essentials. I think there are, of course, outside of the gear that you wear, your bike, for motovlogging, the bare minimum essentials are a helmet, a camera, and an audio device. Now this is to capture the commentary or the sound of the bike or whatever you want to record. This can be done either through the camera or through a separate audio device. Now in my case, I mean, let's just hold on for a second and enjoy some of these thatched houses or cottages. Beautiful part of the country again. We're lucky. We're actually making our way to Stockbridge. We've talked about Stockbridge Road a few times, but never actually about Stockbridge. So whilst I make this little video, we can also enjoy the nice scenery in and around Stockbridge. I think at the top of this road we will be turning right, but that's, well, actually not. This goes straight to Stockbridge. So coming back to the conversation, so let's talk about helmets. I'm using a Shoei Neotec 2. Actually, my history with helmets is quite checkered and I've had a lot of issues. I started off with full-faced helmets. You know, they look good, they're mean, like any other budding rider. I mean, looks were initially a big part of it. Then I got sort of introduced to full-faced, from full-faced helmets to flip-top helmets, or I think there's another name for, or modular helmets, and I haven't looked back. It's just the practicality of them. However, when it comes to motovlogging, I must confess that it's not the best, because of the fact that, you know, you've got a the face of the helmet can be opened. There are certain buttons or latches in the front that you use or you need access to. So finding a mount that sits dead center was very hard, and on the internet I did my research. There are many ways people sort of mitigate these situations. However, in my case, what I did was I did some research and found this company. I think they're based out in Canada. They do custom 3D molded mounts, and they had one specifically for Shoei Neotec 2. However, before I give them a shout out, my first experience of using one of their products was on an AGV, I believe K1, one of the basic ones, was really poor. But this time round, I think they've improved the quality, so a shout out to Chin Mounts. So Chin Mounts, great product. So anyway, I got a chin mount. There was I think a dead animal on the road. I got myself a chin mount that I've sort of fixed in front of my helmet. It still gives me clear access to the air vent, and I'm able to open and close the face of the helmet, no problems. However, I think on a full face helmet it's much more convenient, because in this case you have, you know, a chance of knocking the camera out of position. So helmets, again, very important. I think I haven't ridden in wet weather so far this year, since I've actually started vlogging, or motovlogging rather. So I don't know how it's going to hold up in wet weather conditions. moving on to the really important, I think I'll probably have to do an entire video on the camera, and I'll just skim through some of the features, advantages, disadvantages of the camera I have today. So back in the day, as I mentioned, when I started motovlogging, it took me, I think, a year or thereabouts to actually get started, and one of the reasons is the camera. So we've made our way to Stockbridge, and we're just crossing the high street. It's a lovely little, I'd say, village or town. There's a lot of bikers and cars that come in. So coming back to the topic, GoPro, and again, as I said, I'm going to make a detailed video on just GoPro. I think let's realistically look at the pros and cons of GoPro. GoPro, amazing camera quality, quite popular in the motovlogging or generally in the vlogging world, and for the right reasons. I think most of the videos that you see, quite a lot of them rather, are being produced through GoPro. So I got myself a GoPro Hero 9 a couple of years back when it came out. I think it was called as the Black Edition or not, with a media mod, and I was quite chuffed. It looked great, it was nicely packaged, everything was as described. However, most of you who've used a GoPro know that the software is a right pain in the backside, and I don't use this term lightly, because it is, and it has actually. Oh, we're coming up to nationals, so in honor of Teapot 1 Nationals, woo! This time round we can go up to 70. Oh, it keeps on going and going and going, and here we go. So the software on the GoPro, it was a shock. I kid you not, it was an absolute shock, because of the fact that the software feels like it's from a completely different generation. It's so hard to manage. Sometimes you are, I don't know, it doesn't work. Let's put it this way. At times it will work like a treat, but on other occasions it will completely fail. And I'll tell you a bit of a story, and that could kindly lend, look at that, beautiful spring. It can kindly lend into another really important topic, right? And so the first time I took out my GoPro, I stuck it on my helmet through another really nice product, which I forgot the name of the brand, but anyway, I stuck it onto my helmet, and at that time I was running a riding club, and I had arranged a trip to Wales, so wanted to do all the Brecon Beacons and Snowdonia and all of that. So I stuck it on my helmet and I took it there, and when I came back and I looked at the footage, it was awful. Not because it was awful because the camera didn't work, it was awful because I didn't do one of the most important things that you need to do with any hobby, was practice and test before time. And when I came back, the footage was horrible. Anyway, we'll take a little break, and I don't know if you can see what I can see. Beautiful, lush green fields. Wow. So that brings me to a really important point, is testing. Make sure, regardless of how good you are, how much experience you have with cameras in general, when you pick up a GoPro, make sure you test it. And I think that's a really important point. So testing is really important, and with GoPro especially. One of my biggest challenges with GoPro has been the ability to reliably switch it on and off when needed. And again, as I said, when we get into this conversation, detailed conversation on GoPro, we will discuss you know, the challenges that one may face whilst operating a GoPro as their primary motovlogging camera. So in summary, we discussed about a couple of things. We discussed about the helmet, the mounting, or the mounts that you use. We discussed about GoPro. We didn't go into much detail, but I think I'm going to do a dedicated blog or vlog on just the GoPro and the challenges and some quick tips on how to sort of resolve those issues that I think most, if not all of us, face. And then we talked about audio, and I mentioned I think there is no reason why you should look at another lavalier mic. The Panda lav mic, at least at a beginner level, does a great job. I've had no issues with it. The last and final piece that I want to conclude with, which is the most important one, is the value of testing your equipment before you go out for a ride where you want to, you know, record and create content. That, for me, is the most important thing. And it doesn't matter what you have. You can have the most expensive or a very cheap equipment. It doesn't really matter, but as long as you spend time or invested time in testing your setup, playing around with your settings, then it will work. You will understand how to use it confidently. Now, I'm not saying that I am an expert on the subject. I'm just a beginner, so every time I'm going out I'm learning something new, but slowly but surely I am getting to a stage where I'm understanding the nuances that I have to work with as far as the equipment is concerned. So testing is great, and it really pays off. Trust me, it really will pay off, especially if you are planning on going on a really extravagant adventure or a holiday with a group of people, where literally you will get only one chance and you don't want to muck it up, right? And I think, you know, and I think that is, for me, the most important thing. Make sure you do the testing ahead of time, and eventually when you go out, you know exactly what to do to sort of start, stop, manage your clips, audio, so on and so forth, to create really high quality content. Now, if you're still listening, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button. As we know, it'll notify you, but also encourage me and give a boost to the channel. To the channel. You know how the algorithms work. On that note, I hope you enjoyed this video and the topic that we discussed. Please leave your feedback and experiences in the comments section, and I hope to see you on the next episode of Cosmic Rides. So signing off from Cosmic Rides. Have a great day and goodbye.